Well, hello everyone. If you were in early, you would have seen me having a bit of an ice block. It's pretty warm up here. I'd just like to thank everyone for being here and welcome. Right, so what's going on in the shed? Well, we've moved to Thursday nights and hang on. We've moved to Thursday nights so I could be a bit more prepared and show you what I've been up to during the week. However, that plan hasn't gone quite as what I thought it would, especially tonight. So anyway, we're just going to mumble our way through and say g'day to everyone while I munch down on an ice block. I've got my water over there. Like I said, it's pretty warm here at the moment. There has been some progress on the roller. We were going to get some stuff sandblasted last week, but last week it was pretty wet here. We had a lot of rain and a damn lot of rain. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. I'll just do a quick roll call and say g'day. A shout out to everyone. We've got Roger the Pirate, Funk and Hungry. Oh, excuse me. Peter from up north. Oh, excuse me. Who else we got in here? We've got Cherinator. Mum and Dad are watching. They're over on Facebook. And that's annoying, that is. And yeah, just welcome everyone. And we've probably got a few others tuning in that don't say hello in the chat. That's all right. You can sit back and relax and just watch me talk. We've had a few changes in the shed, like I've mentioned. I haven't got much more done on the tender, but I have had a clean up over on the shelf of where some of the parts are, so that when my dad comes up next time to give me a hand, we can set him up and do some sandblasting, as there's still parts to be made. I started out ages ago. I made a list of what was missing. Some of that stuff has returned, which I'm very thankful for. Some of the original parts of the steamroller, which I'm very thankful for. And other parts have got to be fabricated or cast. Some parts have been cast, like the chimney base and so on. And there's still ongoing work on different aspects. I've probably got a little bit too much on the go. I have a habit of starting things and not following through or going on to something else. But yeah, I'm going to start working on finishing off a few things so I can concentrate on other things. As mentioned before, a lot of the littler stuff has been done, but we're getting into some of the bigger stuff, like the tender, front rolls, that sort of thing, and that takes a bit of extra time. So I'm just going to have a munch on this. Now, give you an idea of just what now. Right now it's 23 degrees. There you go, 23 degrees here in my part of the world. It's pretty hot. Possible shower, maximum 29 tomorrow, partly cloudy. Humidity right now is 91%, so that's probably why it's so warm up here. In fact, I could have thrown a singlet on and still sat here. I know some of you watching, the temperature is a little bit different, but yeah, it's getting quite cold in places like North America and the UK, getting into their chillier season and heading into Christmas. But for us, the weather's just really starting to warm up here. And so I'll flick over to, we've got our usual cam set up. Now, this is one of the older cameras that I've got set up. Because it's an older camera, you can see the graininess in it. It doesn't pick up the light as, say, the other cameras are doing, more modern technology, all that sort of thing. The image sensor just doesn't pick up the light. However, that's just the way it goes. But it's still another aspect. The boiler's sitting there. We've got the forks are the front rolls, and the winch drum is sitting down the bottom there. We've got that sort of thing going on, you know, and the winch drum's going to take up a fair bit of work, and I'm still thinking about how I'm going to attack that. So here's one of the other newer cams. As you can see, a complete difference in terms of lighting, and I've got 6 high bay lights above me. I've also got one above me here, which shines down. But we'll go for a walk. The good thing about this one over here, it's on a 2-axis gimbal, so I can do it whatever way I like, but I've set it up so I can pan around. So I can, if I'm working on something on the bench, I can bring it down, and if possible, and even look, we can get a real nice close-up of if we're working on something on the bench. Bit of bronze, that's the bushes for the bearings on the planetary gears. So that's just on an arm, and we can swing it around. And I haven't swung it around this far yet, but if I'm doing something on the lathe, I can set it up here, get a nice clear view. You can see my chair. I can get right in close if I absolutely have to, and then I can also move the gimbal around a little bit further, and that's really nice and clear. I'm really happy with that. This has a feature of auto tracking, so I can get it to follow me around if I really want to. A bit of a pain in the bum, if you ask me sometimes. I can turn that on or off. But anyway, and hopefully it should... Oh, yeah, there you go. It wants to follow me hand around. Don't know why. It's probably thinking my hand is a face, but there is gestures you can do with that. But you get the idea. The whole purpose is just to get a better view. And we will do a little bit on the lathe tonight. Got to do a little job. Right, just finishing off the last of the old ice block there, which is quite tasty. Righto, let's just catch up in the chat. It's -5. Oh, Cherinator. Oh my God. Oh, -5. Is that's Celsius, obviously, because you're in Cherinator, remind me where you are, mate. I'm drawing a blank. Scotland. Scotland, yeah. Anyway, let's stop having a blonde moment. And so the good thing about... let's get these bits out of here. Good thing about having a clean up, especially on the bench, I used to have it all organised, closing the door on the ute, before we took everything out and got the shed built. I've now got a shelf where I can easily look to see what needs doing in terms of repairs, rebuild, or overhaul, or what doesn't need to be done. And that way I can pick up a piece and work on it and put it back on the shelf. There's a couple of little jobs here that won't take much, but of course it's all time. There's some other things I've got to clean up, and I've got to get some castings done too for the valve rod guides, because I'm pretty sure the ones that I've got there are going to be they're a bit, oh, excuse me again, they're a bit worn out for the new ones, because I took a bit off the other ones because they were pitted from sitting out in the open all that time, and no protection. So you've got to do these things. Right. Will that fit in there? Or is that going to be too big? Right. So I'd have to put the reverse jaws on. It's probably not. No, it's not worth it. Right. Now, and that's probably going to be too long. Yeah, that's going to be too far out. Even if I put the 4-jaw on. Right, so I was going to run this in the lathe, and actually that might just actually that's not too bad, surprisingly. Usually when you've got something in the lathe and you're sticking out this way, I was going to take a clean-up cut across there, but I won't. I'll just put the centre drill in the end because I need to step that down a bit and go over to the drawers here and get our centre drill. The reason why you don't machine something this far out without any support is the leverage effect, as in it could certainly could rip it out of the jaws. Let's put some glasses on. Now I'll just move that a little bit. No, I want to go down there like so. Righto, who's happening? Yeah, you're right. You're right, Peter. Technically, oh, you could call it an ice pop. Whatever you. G'day, Bill. G'day, Dan. Welcome. You can call it whatever you like, whatever flavour you call it. So I'm just going to run a centre drill in here. Does help if you close the lid. Now I'll step that up. Righto. We've got our little centre in there, which is perfect. Right, take that out. And I'll put this one in. Right. Now I'm going to put a live centre in the end. Run that out a bit. There we go. Right, so this is a live centre for those of you who haven't seen one. So now I've got the centre in the end, so it gives me support between here and here, two fixed positions. In fact, what I'll do is I'll go up there and we'll tilt over a bit more, and it goes righto. Okay, I'll see what's going on there. Looks like I might have to beef that up, I think. It's probably not designed to do that. So we're just going to take a little bit off here so it goes inside. Well, we've got to take some off the outside. Off the outside diameter. Take 0.5 mil off there. We'll probably take a bit more. We'll go up in speed a bit. And we need the feed going. There we go. Probably a bit fast, so we'll slow that down a bit. We'll go over there. That's better. Because we've got that little bit of running up, we're not It's going to take a little bit just to clean that up, but that's 44. That's actually good. Yeah, that's a mil under. And we're going to run that up about 100 mil. There you go, Pete. There's a bit of ankle for you. We haven't got much more to go. Right, we're starting to get a bit of vibration there, and that happens sometimes when you're doing stuff like this because so far out of the chuck. So to resolve that issue, we can slow it down. Right, so we're just making a little step. So what this will be, it's 40, and we'll go a fraction under that. 45. All right, that'll do. Right, we'll get the file out, we'll break the edges, and then we'll show you what's going on. Righto. Let's get everything out the way here. And it's always good practice to keep your lathe clean or your machinery clean, but I need to do that a bit more regularly, even though I don't use this that much. Right, so what's this going to be? Turn that off. This is going to be, it's a little bit long, a little bit overkill. Right, we'll slip over here to the bench, so we'll just pan around. You can see me. And we'll just go down here like this, like so. Look at that. Okay, so I'll put that into there like so, and that'll I can use that to push these old bearings out. And that's all it is. It's just a simple tool. Yes, it's a little bit long. No point cutting a bit of steel if you don't have to. I'm not sure how tight they are in there, but knowing bearings and bushes like this, they won't. It'll be an interference fit, but it's not going to be overly tight. Right, so let's put him up there and just sit him up like that. You can yeah, see the inside of my hand. Right, I'll come back over and have a chat now. I might have some water while I play catch up in the chat. Yeah, I've gone the other way, Pete. I slowed down the speed and up the feed. That's usually that was a good way to go, depending on the material, of course. The material also dictated how hard you were going to go, how fast, surface speed, the tips also depending on that stuff as well. But right, so that's where we're up to at the moment. In terms of that, we've got, like I said, we've got stuff happening over on the shelf. I've got things to do like drill holes in the fire hole doors. Let's show you that. I've shown it before, and there's a video on the on YouTube here of me brazing up this. This is the old fire hole door, and yeah, you're right, Pete. Carbide does like to work hard, and in our situation like this, hobby machinists, we really don't work it hard enough. I have successfully brazed that up, and this was used as a pattern to make 2 new ones, as well as the hinges. So I've got to, the new doors, I've got to drill a hole in here. So that requires a setup on the milling machine, get that lined up nice and square, and drill through at 4 inches or so. 4 inches? Yeah, about 3 inches actually. 3 inches without it wandering off too much, with a bit of clearance. And then I've got still got the latch. There's a latch that goes on here that locks it on when the door's closed. Just put that there. So there's little jobs like that to be done, and also like the brake rod was missing off the tender. God knows where that went. Who knows why they pulled that off. We've got those drawings, which is good to see. I've had a lot of those drawings for a while now, and I'll be able to use those to make the new components. So it's just a matter of time and working through different parts of the project before starting things like the setting up and doing the fire hole doors and things like that. I need to finish off a few other things like the new shafts for the planetary gears. I've got to machine a square on those, put a drill in, put an oil hole all in one end, which won't take long. It's just a matter of getting organised and just doing it. Like, for instance, if we go back over to the lathe, we'll spin around again. We'll spin you out. Oh, I see what's going on. Oh, look, you can see yourself. So we jump onto the lathe. So the new shafts need a hole in here. So it's a matter of putting that in there. We've got the center in there already. We'll go down there. And drilling in about 100 mil, roughly 4 inches, or maybe a bit more, so that we can put an oil hole in here so that we can get added lubrication into there, because the old ones, they had a hole in either end, and all they had was this flat ground on them, and that was it. And these sat on their respective, sat like so, and spun around and did their thing. and I don't think they got a lot of lubrication. Now, my friend Gary, with his engine, he made a modification to his, so he gets his engine in a particular place. Yeah, millwork. Yep. He gets his engine in a particular place so we can get lubrication into that area. And it's a bit of a trick lining it up because you've only got such a small hole to do it, to get lined up and get the lubrication into it. So it does work. It's made a difference, that's for sure. But I'll do something very similar. However, this engine does have like a porthole where you can open up and I would imagine get an oil can in there and pour it down there. So there's another way of getting oil or grease in there. Yeah, it certainly needs lube, that's for sure. So these are things we can all modify as we go along and before we put it back together. Right. So what's progress-wise in terms of what's happening? Not much progress at the moment. Still doing stuff with the boiler. Well, actually not. I haven't done anything with the boiler. I've still got a few things to do with that. And that'll be shown in due course. There's other, like I mentioned before, there's a lot of other little things to do, which actually I could probably show you if what am I going to do? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Right, let's show you a photo of one that's already been made. Yeah. Or one that's in a whole one, I should say. That would be better. A whole one is better than a one that's already been made. Hang on. As you can see, I'm well prepared. See all. Right. And October 2018. No, I don't want you to do that. Why? Just show. Oh, please don't do that. Now, why would you? Why? I don't want memories. I want just a photo. All right, I'll just go the other way then. Oh, it's always so difficult. Sometimes so difficult. Sorry, folks, if this is right. Where are we? Okay, so let's do a share the old screen thing, and we'll be right on it. Hey, Emma, how are you? Right, I'm going to share the screen and show you a couple of things that need to be made. Righto, so this is the one in the museum at Rockhampton. Now, it is the same engine as this one, which is a Fowler T3 roller. It was used in the Rockhampton area to roll the roads. Now, I can remember back as a kid, my dad saw an advertisement in the Courier Mail advertising for a position to drive a steamroller on the roads. Maybe they didn't want to have any takers, but that was late 70s. So we took this trip up there once we found out there was one close by or relatively close. We took a trip up there to get a nice close look to see one that was complete, which really did help the situation, and you can see my wife in the background there. This particular one, I just can't remember the engine number off the top of my head. There's various photos of it. So this one is complete. However, the sad thing is it's got the lagging on the boiler still on there, and I think it's doing damage to it over a long period of time. This one was outside, but it's now undercover, I believe. And when I say it's complete, it's pretty well got everything in there. It's got the, let's zoom in here. There we go. So it's got the clack valves on it. It's also got the guards on the side to stop the horses being spooked by the motion, apparently. There are a few things missing, like the chimney. You can see a nice big crack in that one. What else? Originally, they didn't have this guard on it. That's probably something that the Rockhampton City Council put on. Yeah, Pete, all the bells and whistles. And this one's also fitted with a scarifier, a 3-tone scarifier. Now, this engine that we have here that we're working on was fitted with a scarifier, but I've never seen any photos of it. So we'll flick over to another photo here and show you a close-up. This is the valve body for the pump, for the water pump, which directs water back into the boiler or back into the tender. This is, if any of you here watch Emma's small room machine shop, she's currently working on hers, making up the new valves. Once again, this one is all complete. This particular part is missing from mine, from this one. Sorry, just take another swig of water, guys. It's missing, and hopefully another one is going to be cast. I'm not sure. Well, it'll have to be cast eventually because it's what we need to direct the water into the boiler. You could make up something rudimentary, but it's not going to look original, and obviously you want to make it look original as possible. So that's one piece that's missing that needs to be made. This is another one. The piece on the top of the plate, that's where the regulator goes on, and that's where you let steam into the cylinders and so on. And as you can see, this one's still got its original plate on it where it says working pressure of 200 pounds per square inch, clean out every 10 days. Because when you're boiling that much water, you're bound to build up lime scale and other impurities from the water that you're putting into the boiler. Unfortunately, that was one of the problems that steam locos had, and it led to the maintenance of steam locomotives. But there were boiler treatment regimes, especially in France, that were introduced, which cut down the amount of maintenance on the boiler. There's another view of the pump, just a side view. It's missing some bits off the top, the brass bits, because they're the shiny bits that get taken. This happens from time to time. But anyway, we'll get there. The other thing this engine has that mine hasn't, or this one hasn't, and this is the handbrake assembly. As you can see, it's a long piece of steel, long rod with a square thread on the bottom. I'll just zoom in a little bit. And this piece on the top, which is just a piece of 1-inch bar bent around at 90 degrees. So there's other bits and pieces. In this photo, you can see that this had a wood basket. They've they've added extra bits on the wood basket to go that bit longer, and the piece on the back that's sitting, that you'd wrap your hose around this. The hose would be connected to a water lifter, so you could pull water out of a creek or something like that. We do have this one for ours. It's been a bit bent up, so that's another job that needs to be, worked on and straightened out. There's all these little things I need to do, and once again, I need to sit down and do it right. You can see some further detail there of the extra wood basket that they added on to keep the engine going. Funnily enough, they only ran this particular one, I believe, on wood. I don't think they ever got any coal, considering it's quite a coal-rich area. But that was the thinking. All that water makes you give hiccups. Excuse me, folks. Sorry. The other thing ours is missing is the roof or the canopy, and we can see that here, that this one is complete. It's got all the canopy irons on it, and the roof, or what's left of the roof. One of these did come up for sale in the UK. I was going to buy it, but it was just going to be a bit too cost prohibitive, unfortunately. And try and say that 3 times quick. So that's a rundown on bits and pieces that are missing off our engine. These little things, like these little lubricators on the eccentrics, I've now got those. And also the lubricators for the big ends, like you see here. We've got those now too. But it just goes to show you how complete some engines are, especially even though they've been left out in the weather. And there's another view of the square thread that would have to make up for the handbrake assembly on that shaft. As you can see, the down the bottom of the tender there, it's well rotted out, and ours suffered the same in that. However, this one's got the handbrake assembly complete, all in one piece. This is another part I need to fabricate. I did work on that piece earlier, and I just need to get some steel. All these things I need to do. I've got to stop saying I need to do this and I need to do that and just get on with it. Maybe Emma can answer this. Maybe not. This one is missing that's the steering for the worm and worm wheel. The cover on ours, on this one, is rusted through. We do have the cover, but as you can see, the steering rod has been broken. Yeah, Bill, 10mm sockets. I don't think we've got any 10mm sockets on this one, but I hear you, man. I hear you. So these are the motion covers. Dan, a young guy down in Melbourne who's working on one, he's made up new ones from scratch. Like I said, the motion covers are there supposedly to, so the horses wouldn't get spooked back in the day. This engine didn't have any when it came here. It didn't have any when it was in the park. There was quite a lot of bits missing. It would have been nice to find some of these bits and get them back. I have got some bits back, but anyway, it is what it is. There's engines out there that are in worse shape than this one, and they've put them back together. So here's a view for Emma. Oh, there you go. Does that look familiar, Emma? You might be interested in that. As you can see, it's full of rocks, as you know, when things go missing, and there's a couple of valves there that probably look all right, probably haven't done as much work, or maybe they have done as much work as what Emma's got to make up. But we certainly took a lot of photos, that's for sure. Just to give you an idea of the amount of rust on this particular engine. Not that it's impossible, but if you have a look at that photo there, you can see a lot of rust, and it would be an even bigger job. I think you'd find some real problems with this one. Once again, it wouldn't be hard to do. It's just going to take more time. I'm very lucky with this engine, with the amount of information that I've found out, good community support, and you know, the amount of drawings that have been available, and just different aspects of the project that's come together to get to where we are today. So that's, there it is. So the engine in Rockhampton that we went and looked at, this is the engine number here. It's 17067. Now that's much later than this one. This one is 16930 of 1926. So this engine would have to be 1927. So much later, a bit later, another 12 months. Being in Queensland, I would imagine it's going to be the same agents here in Brisbane as my engine, but I'd have to look at another list to see whether that's the case or not. So yeah, that goes on the spectacle plate. That's the working pressure. Bit of a rough casting, but I'm sure that could be easily reproduced. In fact, I can't remember. I've got the holes for that to bolt onto. So that's probably enough about that. If you're ever up that way, go have a look at this place. There's a lot to offer there. This is what we just focused on, but there's plenty of other examples. To give you an idea, steam rollers would have been replaced with these Imperial rollers made in Australia, big single cylinder diesel engines that probably, you know, only used about 10 litres a day. You know, you didn't have to fire them up or anything like that. Big flywheels on them, as you can see. Pretty impressive machine, actually. Don't think I've ever seen one of these go. There's a good selection of portable steam engines, if that's your thing. You know, so I must admit, this museum really does have a lot to offer. And there's probably a roller, a 3-point roller, that would have replaced probably even those earlier rollers. For instance, this steam roller worked up until about 1960-61 for the Allara Shire Council, until it was parked up and then put into the park. And unfortunately, a lot of bits were taken off it. But anyway, there's nothing we can do about that. We can only make them again. There's a lot of other exhibits around the place. If you're into clocks, quite a large selection of clocks. If you want to go looking at clocks, wall clocks, grandfather clocks, whatever clocks. I'm sure Emma can tell me what these clocks are. There's a grandfather clock. There's just clocks everywhere in this place. I would imagine they all work. I don't think any of them were working at the stage. But yeah, certainly a large variety. I still believe that they're there. Once again, well worth a look. And the other steamroller they had there, now this is a Marshall steamroller. The difference between the one we're looking at earlier in the same museum and this one's a big one. Now, when I say big one, this is a 12-ton steamroller, right? So that's pretty big, whereas the roller we're looking at before is 8 ton. So, and there is video out there. They quite a few years back, they did have this in operational condition. However, it's been sitting undercover here for a long time. I don't know whether it's up and running again. So it's definitely well worth, if you're ever up that way, drop in and have a look. I'm not sure whether this is still accessible, but yeah, it's certainly, and as for rollers, this is a big one. It's so there you go. That was a trip to the Rockhampton Historical Village to see another T3 roller, look at bits and pieces. They did have a miniature railway there, but they had a bit of falling out, apparently. While we were there, the other thing to look at is this thing here. This is the Purry steam car. It's a one-off. It's the only one left, French-made thing or something like that. They take you from the station here, from the old station. They go out onto the main line and go down and back in again. We were lucky enough to get there just before they pulled the fire out of it. It's got a vertical boiler in it. It's got quite a lot of history. This whole precinct here's got quite a bit of history. They've got a steam loco and a diesel, which I'll show. And in fact, this should come through all right. That's it going away to its shed, I think, at the end of the day, yeah. I have to upload, and they've got obviously XQR locos and so on and so forth. So there you go. Once again, it is, if you get the chance, go and see it. Something different. And they got a C17 steam locomotive. The C17 steam locomotives were quite ubiquitous throughout Queensland, known as the brown bombers because they had a brown colour scheme. Worked all over Queensland. These were replaced by, once diesels came in, they were superseded naturally, like a lot of things. But anyway, well worth. There's a better shot of the 1600, 1614. I do believe that they had turned the engine over a few times. It quite possible could be operational, but like all things, time, money, nobody wants to spend, and why would you want to do that? All that sort of thing sometimes, unfortunately. So yeah. But anyway, that's it. That's it. Let's stop sharing that and righto. Just play catch up in the chat, and that's about it. I think I've been prattling on now for about almost 50 minutes, and you've probably had enough of me, I think. So that's where we're up to, and I do like to thank everyone for joining us here tonight. Let's just get rid of a few of those. And whistle.